Agreement done as Liverpool now waiting on club to approve transfer. Liverpool could soon experience a resolution to the Mark Guéhi transfer story this summer. The Merseysiders can currently call upon the services of Virgil van Dijk, Ibrahima Konate, Joe Gomez and Giovanni Leone in the heart of their defense. However, the potential arrival of the Crystal Palace centre-back would add much-needed depth for the 2025-26 season. Konate and Gomez are both superb options within the backline but have struggled with poor form and injury in recent months. Fabrizio Romano. Liverpool want to finalize Mark Guéhi transfer. The Italian journalist now reports for Caught Offside that Liverpool are prepared to pay over £30 million to finalize the deal in question. Importantly, Guéhi himself is still keen on a switch to Arne Slot's men ahead of the deadline on September 1st, and personal terms are not going to be an issue. So it's now up to the Eagles to respond and see if a middle ground can be found to enable the England international to link up with the incumbent Premier League champions for the 2025-26 season. Why is a deal in Crystal Palace's best interests? The defender ultimately has no interest in extending his stay at Selhurst Park beyond the summer of 2026. So, this is categorically Crystal Palace's last chance to retrieve some value from the footballer ahead of his contract expiring next year. Chairman Steve Parish has already indicated that this would be the preferable outcome for the club, despite the fact that Oliver Glasner's men have already lost Ebereki Eze to Arsenal. Palace transfer contradicts Oliver Glasner's position. Glasner raised more than a few eyebrows on socials after telling reporters in his pre-match presser that the club could not allow Guéhi to leave. From my side, he has to stay. Because it's not possible at the moment to find a Mark Guéhi replacement who can play straight in the Premier League and be a starter for Crystal Palace. The former Frankfurt boss said. That perhaps indicates that potential new signing JD Canvett, who Ben Jacobs notes is considered a long-term replacement for the Englishman, will not, ideally, be relied upon from the off. What's instructive in Glasner's comments for Liverpool fans, however, is the head coach's opening from my side statement. It remains to be seen whether Crystal Palace executives and decision-makers behind the scenes will agree that it is in the club's best interests to hold on to Guéhi at the risk of losing him on a free next year. If Liverpool are prepared to push their offer beyond the £30 million mark, too, that could prove decisive in negotiations. Liverpool appear to have been given encouragement regarding a potential swoop for Mark Guéhi in the final week of the summer transfer window. Anfield Chiefs have held initial talks with Crystal Palace over the 25-year-old, although there have been reports of Manchester City possibly targeting a late August raid for the Eagles captain. However, the Times' Paul Joyce claimed that the defender only wants to join the Reds if he's to leave Selhurst Park before next Monday's deadline, and that has been reinforced by two other reliable sources in the past few hours. Guéhi would prefer to join Liverpool if he leaves Palace. On Tuesday morning, Fabrizio Romano took to X with an update on the England international, posting, "Despite reports on Man City and more clubs, Mark Guéhi's situation has not changed. Liverpool is his favorite destination. Guéhi wants LFC. Talks still ongoing for deal to happen before end of the window. If not possible with Palace, Liverpool will be on it for 2026. In the latest transfer deal sheet for The Athletic, David Ornstein also indicated that Anfield is the centre-back's chosen destination if he were to depart, with the Eagles reluctant to lose their captain as a free agent, and the player not intending to renew his contract, which is now into its final year. It's added that if the Selhurst Park club were to reduce their demands, Miguel Delaney has reported an asking price of £45 million. Liverpool could then potentially agree a deal for the defender. Still enough time for Liverpool to make a move for Guéhi. A number of Reds fans on social media are clamoring for Anfield Chiefs to step up their pursuit of Guéhi after last night's hard-fought win over Newcastle, in which Ibrahima Konate's performance came in for plenty of criticism. Richard Hughes and FSG won't indulge in any knee-jerk reactions off the basis of one match, although the Frenchman finds himself in a similarly time-ticking contractual situation as the man who could potentially displace him from Arne Slot's lineup if the proposed transfer goes through. Liverpool are reportedly prepared to spend no more £35 million on the England international, £10 million less than Palace's valuation, The Independent. So one or both sides would have to concede some ground if the defender is to swap South London for Merseyside before next Monday. That Gahey seems to only have eyes for LFC if he's to leave Selhurst Park is encouraging, at least, and it's not unthinkable that his desire for a move might increase if the Eagles were to be eliminated from the Conference League in the second leg of their playoff against Fredrikstad on Thursday. There might be only 6 days remaining in the transfer window, but that's still time enough for FSG to table a bid for the centre-back and potentially reinforce an area of the pitch which has looked suspect at the start of the season. We have to go for it and show we are the defending champions. Cody Gakpo stressed the need for Liverpool to produce a performance befitting of the defending Premier League champions when they meet Arsenal at Anfield. Last season's top 2 teams in the division face each other in a much-anticipated showdown in L4 on Sunday afternoon. Both sides have perfect records and maximum points following the opening 2 rounds of fixtures in 2025-26. And Gakpo knows the extremely tough challenge that stands in the Reds' way of 3 wins from 3. The Dutchman spoke to LiverpoolFC.com at the AXA training center to preview the contest. Read on for the interview. Cody, it's a massive game on Sunday against Arsenal at Anfield. How much are you looking forward to it? A lot. I think it's always a big game against Arsenal, and I think everybody is looking forward to the game. It's always good to play them, and hopefully we will get the win. It's the teams that finished first and second in the Premier League last season, and even though it's so early in this season, it could be a very important game come the end. Yeah, obviously last season we were 1 and 2, so I think it's for both sides that we want to prove a point. They want to prove a point, we want to prove a point. We have to go for it, and especially at home we have to show them that we are still the defending champions, and that is what we will try to do. Both teams go into it having won their first 2 games. From our point of view, the wins over Bournemouth and Newcastle have been a bit more dramatic than maybe we would have liked. But the way in which you got the points in both shows that the spirit and mentality that helped you win the title last season is still there, despite the changes in the squad. Yeah, obviously I think when you play for Liverpool you have to win games, and obviously when the season starts that's what you want to do. Even though the first 2 games were a little bit dramatic, we still got the win, and I think at the end that's the most important thing. Obviously now with this game coming up, we can really show what we want this season, and we have to go for the win again. Play a good game hopefully, and don't let it be as dramatic as before. It's 2 wins from 2, but it feels like there is still quite a lot to work on and improve. Is that something you agree with? Yeah, I think there is always stuff to improve on. I think now as a team, I think everybody spoke also about the fact that we conceded in both games 2 goals, and I think last year we started the season with some clean sheets. So I think that's what we would all like to go back to. But again, this is football and we play against very good teams as well, and these things can happen. But we try to improve that, we try to improve up front as well to score more goals, so we are working every day and hopefully all the work we put in will come out in the game. Just finally, it's back to Anfield after experiencing a pretty hostile atmosphere at St. James Park. Are you glad to be back at home, and what difference can the Liverpool supporters make in a game like this? I think everybody knows how much difference our fans can make. I think they showed it through the years many times. Sometimes it feels like we have one more player on the pitch when they are on fire, so I think every player appreciates them very much. Hopefully they are going to be on fire like always again, and we give them back the victory. James McConnell signs new LFC contract and joins Ajax on loan. James McConnell has joined Ajax on loan for the rest of 2025-26 after signing a new long-term contract with Liverpool FC. The midfielder links up with the Eredivisie club to gain further senior experience this season, reuniting with former Reds coach John Heitinga, now in charge of Ajax, and goalkeeper Vitislav Jaros, also on loan in Amsterdam. Ahead of the move to the Netherlands, McConnell put pen to paper to extend his time at LFC, which began after he arrived at U15 level from Sunderland. The 20-year-old progressed through the club's academy system and has appeared 13 times for the senior team to date. McConnell was handed his competitive debut by Jurgen Klopp with a cameo off the bench in a Europa League win over Toulouse at Anfield in October 2023. Featuring in 9 matches during his breakthrough season, he recorded an assist against Norwich City in the Emirates FA Cup before earning a Carabao Cup winners' medal by coming on as a substitute in the 2024 final versus Chelsea. The England youth international appeared for Arne Slot's Liverpool on 4 occasions last term, including a first Champions League outing at PSV Eindhoven in January. Eredivisie runners-up in 2024-25, Ajax have taken 7 points from 9 to kick off the new campaign and are set to feature in the Champions League phase. England axed Trent Alexander-Arnold for World Cup qualifiers. Trent Alexander-Arnold was dropped by England coach Thomas Tuchel on Friday, as Elliot Anderson and Jed Spence received their first call-ups for the World Cup qualifiers against Andorra and Serbia. Alexander-Arnold was part of England's squad at the end of last season, but Tuchel chose to leave him out of the September matches. The right-back left Premier League champions Liverpool to join Spanish side Real Madrid on a free transfer in the summer. However, Alexander-Arnold was excluded from Madrid's starting team for last weekend's win against Real Oviedo, with Dani Carvajal preferred instead.